And go.
Welcome to Episode 7, the weekly podcast where we cover esports, news, and just general Starcraft goodness. With me on the show today is Airless, Katie, and our new guest is Diddy.
Your hand is also like in the center.
Anyway, this is not Thursday, as you guys may know. So this is a special edition. We're going to be covering MLG. The girls went up, as did our guest star, and I guess we're just going to talk about what was cool about MLG. We're going to have a recap. We're going to talk about the games, the players, who did you guys meet. But I don't have show notes, so take it away, whoever has the first topic.
Yeah! Okay, well, let's get started by talking about... we're going to literally tell you guys everything that happened at MLG, including getting there, because that's what we're wanting to do. That's the way it's going to be.
KFC!
Yeah, we did go to KFC. That was disgusting. That was really gross. I don't... okay, and I was driving and, like, eating fried chicken, and, like, it was, like, falling all over. It was really bad. We're not going to get into that too much. But we drove from where we're at in the Virginia Beach area, and we drove down to Raleigh, which was really, really fun. And actually, just as a recap, Tima, also known as Arliss, flew over from Seattle, and Diddy, our guest... Which way? That way. Diddy, I need to go the opposite. That's what I need to remember. Diddy flew in from Utah, which was really cool. So we drove down to Raleigh, North Carolina, and we were staying at our friend Tony's house. So Tony, if you watch this, and thank you so much for letting us stay there and see you like 1 hour each day, because we pretty much just like, we didn't sleep at all. We got up as early as possible, went to MLG, spent every single second we could playing Starcraft, networking, talking to people.
We didn't play Starcraft. We watched.
Sorry, watching Starcraft. We did not play any Starcraft. And then we went out afterwards to like network some more, hang out with people, which was a lot of fun. And then we went home and we slept for 4 or 5 hours and repeat. So it was a really good time. First thing we noticed when we got there was, we got checked in. We got like the wristbands, which was really cool. And we went around and we were seeing all the people that were there. And we went into the actual venue and started watching people. First people we saw that were playing was actually Huck vs. Scarlet, and do you remember who Idra was playing against that game?
Was it Suppy?
It
might twice.
Yeah, it might have been Suppy. But anyway, so there's this one section where people are sitting there playing. It's like kind of a little stage, and everyone stands around and watches, and it's really cool. Oh, it might be Vibe. Okay, thanks, Easy Melon. I'll kind of take his word for it because I don't remember. I didn't write anything down at this point. So we were watching those games. Scarlet, obviously, this was for WCS. Scarlet had taken out, or not taken out, but I don't know if he took him out in that, but he beat Huck in that round of matches, and so that was pretty exciting. So we kind of like watching games. Huh?
She.
Yes. So we watched a couple rounds of games, and I don't think I said he, though. But,
okay.
Yes, that is true. So anyway, so we're, watching games, and then Diddy caught up with us, and Diddy, what was your impression when you first got there?
Well, so it wasn't as well attended as a lot of the MLG that I've watched. But the games were really interesting. There was kind of this dichotomy between people that were just playing this very basic macro style. It's almost like they didn't, I don't want to say they didn't care, but there was this large group of players that seemed very burnt out. And then there was another group of players that was only playing in one of the tournaments, and they were the ones that were doing all of these very interesting builds and actually kind of innovating almost, which was really cool to see, because there was, a group of players that like literally, Idra and Hero and all those guys, they must have played, if you think about it, probably 18 to 20 best of threes in one tournament, given that they both went to the loser's bracket or the lower bracket in either case, like almost immediately. So they ended up probably playing like 60 to 80 games over the course of the weekend. And those guys were just like on autopilot constantly. But then you had these very interesting styles from, Scarlet. Crank was cool to watch.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk a lot about Crank.
All those guys were really cool, so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, kind of, I figured we could just go through. Now, I don't know if you had written anything down, but I wanted to talk about a couple of the games that I thought were pretty cool, or at least a couple like things that happened in the games that were cool. So let me see, where's the first one? Oh, so obviously, like, this is probably, people are going to talk about it, but in the Idra vs. Illusion games, he had two kind of, like, big, like funny things that happened. The first one was in Game 1, he accidentally attacked and killed his own third with 3 of his queens, after he was bunker pushed. But that's fine, he still won the game. And he was able to joke about it after, which was really cool. So that was fine. But it was pretty funny. I know that totally sucks for the player, and that's got to, like, really mess with you when you're in your game. But it obviously didn't affect him that bad. I mean, he was just doing really, really well. And just as a side note, one of the cool things about the way that Idra was playing, and they you know, a lot of the commentators had mentioned this, is the fact that he was using infestors to throw down infested Terran as well as fungals, which is something he's not traditionally done in the past, you know, little while. So that was really cool that he was, you know, picking up on doing that kind of thing. So that I think that helped him a lot. It made him a little bit stronger. And I mean, he's just kind of like on fire in the WCS. Actually, he ended up placing in the WCS. He placed third.
Third.
So and I'll go at the end of the stream. I was going to run through the top, you know, for each, the MLG and the WCS, and so we can do that after. But so that was kind of cool. And then in the game 2 between Idra and Illusion, again, this was just on the first day. Idra came back after an elevator drop. By Muta harassing and busting at the front kind of simultaneously. But so the Nat, do you want to? I thought maybe you could explain the elevator drop a little bit. That happened to him, where, you know, they take the.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you just kind of did a quick push with a couple of Hellions and a group of Marines. Was able to establish high ground vision, defend that area with the Marines, and then drop the Hellions up top. And then the Hellions give him obviously the defense to allow the Marines to come up from Zerglings. And then he can move that and micro that entire group around. That was, you know, that whole series and a lot of Idra's games were the ones where it was just kind of this autopilot sort of thing. Like, he won so many games just purely on the fact that, you know, he was hitting injects better, he was just making more stuff than the other guys that he was playing. And, like, there were very few points where it was obvious that his decision-making was better or that his strategy was better. He just simply, like, hit more buttons.
Yeah.
As an overall strategy, though, I mean, he's playing a strategy that hasn't been used for probably like 6 months to a year, where it's a muta-centric style, which is really cool because, like, the metagame switched from a very the openers were always just like infantry openers with tanks and like Hellions. And then when Zerg got the Queen buff, all of a sudden the most common opener is this Hellion, the Banshee play, right? Hellion Banshee, and then that's how you control the map. And it just almost like taking it full circle, going back to the mutalist play. And I really like to see that, because he stuck to that for a long, long time. He would not use infestors. And I like that he's going back to his original play. I think it suits him a lot better, and it suits the metagame right now. I think it's neat because most Zergs went infestors, right, in that matchup. Just him and Leenock.
Yep. Yeah, it was an interesting balance too, though, because he really did revert, whereas Leenock was doing different things with that style, right? Like, and Scarlet to some extent too. She didn't use the muta strategy, but she had a very controlling style almost. Like, rather than just macroing or doing a cheese or one of these things, what she would do is put herself in a position where she could see more of the map, have good map control, and then force her opponent into a set of decisions. Like, she would trust that they were legitimately good opponents, and that's something that Idra's actually credited with a lot, or cursed with a lot, depending on how you think about it. Is that she would basically trust that they were going to make the right decision based on what they saw, and then she would do the counter to that before actually scouting it. And Idra does that a lot too, and I think that's kind of where this mutilating Baneling style came from, is that he was doing that as well, trying to show that he was being greedy, and then just, you know, have the right defense. Like, he's obviously practiced against that elevator strategy quite a bit, and then, you know, just be on that kind of edge. The problem that he ends up running into a lot of the time is that he will assume that what he's shown his opponent was seen and understood in the way that he wants it to be understood. And oftentimes that gets him into trouble because they may not see it that way, especially if they're from Korea and he's not up on the current Korean metagame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what bit him in the that's kind of what bit him in the MLG tournament, and probably, I mean, this is kind of my opinion, that's why he made it so far in WCS versus MLG.
Yeah, to that note about assuming someone's going to properly respond to what they see, I was watching Cats, and Cats brought up a really good point where that's why he lost MKP. This is a while ago, granted, not this MLG. But you show someone something, like you show them Colossus, for example, and you're like, well, the Terran can't attack me until he has Vikings. And that's not true. The Terran can attack you anytime they want. A good Terran's probably going to wait until they have at least like 4 or 5. They can attack you anytime they want, and it's still a risk, you know? You're assuming they read you properly, and it's almost like a bluff, you know? And they can call you on that bluff, and it's dangerous. You can't think about it as a safe play all the time.
Yeah, that was kind of, I don't know, my take on a lot of those games. The Friday games I actually really enjoyed, and then the early part of Saturday was really cool. As you got further into the brackets, though, it seemed to actually kind of slow down. Like, casters were getting tired, players were getting tired. Like, there were just these weird mistakes that were happening. Like, I forget if it was WCS or MLG, but Idra basically won a series because a Terran did not raise a supply depot. Or, sorry, not that. That was when Protoss did not use a force field and he had a full energy sentry at his wall with 2 cannons. Like, and instead, like, 20 speedlings just ran in. It was so bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the most part, though, the games that we saw that Idra was playing, he had really great control compared to how he's been playing in the past couple months. So I thought that was really good. And I know that he was, you know, he was really doing very regimented, like he was doing his exact builds, but he was doing them so well. At least I thought, and he was doing really well against a lot of aggression. Like, I know during the Idra versus Insur games, you know, he was making the correct counters to Voids and Phoenix and Zealots, and you know, he was dealing with the defense, and then he was transitioning correctly, and I thought that was really good.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so as far as WCS goes, what else did you see for Scarlet? I mean, what else did you see that really stood out about her play? Because she was flawless. She was rock solid. She had everything down.
I don't think she lost the map at all.
Yeah.
See what they're going
She lost 1, but it was pretty early. Yeah, it was very early.
She lost a map.
I know, it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy. And she.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say she played flawlessly, but she played a style that nobody was able to read and get around in the amount of time that they had to do it.
Mhm. All right, it's coming back up.
Yep.
Oh my God! I look like Mike now.
I know, you guys. Okay, so the only thing we did was we switched around Nat and Mike, but we're back.
Hey Mike, that's an awesome tuxedo you're wearing.
I like your
I like my headset.
headset. Yes.
So everyone, just so everyone knows that's watching the YouTube video, we just lost power, so that's why like it probably just like chopped and did something weird, like Nat and Mike switched places. So that's what happened. All right, let's continue. What were we talking about?
It was a magic trick. We were talking about the UCS, I think.
Right. We were talking about. Right.
Go ahead. You and Tima should talk for a while. Mike and I have been dominating too much.
I've been talking.
I want to eat pineapple.
Tima, what did you think of the WCS games?
I'm eating my pineapple.
That was all on Friday.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Like you said, I mean, they were very macro heavy, very macro intense, whereas nothing very interesting would happen for the first 5 minutes of the game. I thought that the MLG matches were more interesting. There was more like Phoenix play, which is really fun to see. I don't know. Phoenixes can be really annoying, but they're also not a very extremely strong unit. But when used properly to harass, they're probably better than what's the new toss unit coming out? The
Which one?
Oracle or
yeah,
Tempest?
the Oracle.
Tempest.
Phoenixes are still probably a better harass unit than the Oracle.
Unless you want to freeze their minerals and have temporary invisible cloaking. I know it's gonna be pretty sweet. Hopefully, that's the only. I didn't try that out the other day. Okay. So.
But yeah.
Okay.
So Friday. It was all on Friday.
So just quick rundown, so everyone knows what happened with WCS. Here's kind of the standings. First was Team Acer Scarlet. Second was Root Vibe. Third was EG Idra. Fourth was Root Major. Fifth was Infinity 7 Insur. Sixth was Quantic State. Seventh was Quantic Illusion. Eighth was It's Gosu Ostoji. I can't pronounce that. And ninth was EG Huck. So that was the standings for WCS, and now let's talk about MLG. It was kind of cool having, by the way, it was really cool having two tournaments going on, although that must have been really
hard on the players.
Yeah, really hard on the players. And just as a side note, since we did mention the commentator thing before, there was, I guess, fewer commentators for a lot of the premium streams than there traditionally is at the other MLGs, so those guys were, like, super burnt out. So if anyone was watching those and they were like, why are these guys so tired? It was because there was 3 of them.
Or they're making, like, mistakes, and they're like, they said that wrong.
Yeah, normally there's, like, 7 of them, so that's kind of what happened. So I'm sure they'll fix that for the next MLG, because that seems really harsh. But anyway, okay, so now let's talk about...
We appreciate all their hard work.
Yes, we appreciate all of your hard work and excellence in life.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me get back. Let me get my notebook. Where are we at? Okay, so now let's talk about MLG. Nat, why don't you start us off with what was like on day 2? What were you most looking forward to that happened, or that was going to happen?
Just kind of running through the open bracket and watching behind the large groups of games at one time, right? Because a lot of the on-stage stuff, was cool, but at the same time it was one game, and then there'd be like this, blank screen for 5 or 10 minutes, and so it was a lot more fun to just stand back and actually watch behind the banks of computers, and you could see so many more people, so many more players. Cool stuff that was also going on over there. It was really interesting to me. You generally don't get to walk up to your favorite pro sports player and say, "Hey, man, that was a good game you had there. That was very entertaining. I appreciate your hard work." And in this case, I literally just stood behind and looked literally over, standing, because I'm a little taller than some of these very skilled Asians. I was literally standing behind like my favorite Zerg, Leenock, right? So I'm standing behind this awesome guy, and he's just sitting there talking with his friends and everything. And every once in a while, I'd ask him something, or he'd just say hi. I said I really appreciated how entertaining his games were and stuff like that, because that seems to be kind of one of the main drivers in their culture, from what I can tell anyway, is that they desire to show very entertaining games as well as win, of course. But so I talked with him a little bit about that, and then I got to watch the whole banks of games, which was a lot of fun. That not many people actually get to watch, only the people in attendance, because those don't go up on stream.
Right.
Right. You just have like freaking 300 games going on.
Right. So as far as the second day of MLG, I think the games that I kind of did want to mention was the Alive vs. Alicia game, or series. So Alive actually beat Alicia 2-0 in that series, and I think there were 2 kind of big reasons. Obviously in Game 2, there was no thermal lance upgrade researched for Alicia, so
Didn't realize it.
yeah, so Alive actually took that one because that was like that's a huge issue. He didn't have the range
That's
that he needed.
not the first time that he's made that mistake.
Right,
in a very
and actually
big
one of
venue
I don't
either.
know if maybe he knows that's like a problem or something, but like in
Why
game
hasn't he researched
yeah, in game 1, he made High Templar, and I think that he probably would have done better if he had made Colossus. He had made a tech choice that was at least I thought a little wrong, but I mean I guess that kind of thing happens. He did have both buildings. He had his Robo, and he had the Bay, and he also had the High Templar building, but he didn't make any Colossus. He was doing High Templar, and it wasn't being as effective as I think the Colossus would have been. So that was that, and then so I kind of let's talk about Crank, because Crank pretty much came out. He doesn't have a team, and he just played so well that entire series. I mean, the entire set of games. So, I mean, Nat, what was your thoughts on his gameplay?
Crank was cool just because he liked to vary stuff so much. Like, he kept doing different things versus different players. And you could really tell that he was there and happy to be there. He was one of the people that I really appreciated just from the simple fact that, he felt that he'd been given a gift to go to this tournament, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he was basically sponsored by the public to go there.
Right.
And
yeah,
he mentioned that every time he was given a chance.
Yeah.
And that's something that I really appreciate.
Yeah, and they're in one of the Hero vs. Crank games. So Hero has this thing where he does a lot of harass, and Crank actually, obviously knowing that, Hero had lower upgrades for this specific game, and there was a good concave on the final battle, but Crank had total map control. So what he had done was he had swept the entire map looking for all of the proxy pylons and got rid of all of them. So Hero couldn't do his harass when Crank started moving out to actually do an attack. So that definitely was really cool to see, especially knowing how Hero operates with his Blink Stalker micro and everything. But yeah, so that was pretty cool. So Mike, what's your?
I think the coolest thing to say about Crank is that not only doesn't he have a team, but he took down Tasia. He took down what looked to be the best player in the world in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And I mean, not only once, but he met him again in the lower bracket in an extended series, and was able to eke out a win against Tasia. It was close. I think it was a 4-3. But, I mean, he had some amazing games, and his Protoss versus Terran looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder who's going to pick him up. I hope a really good team picks him up.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. Yeah, I'm sure it'll happen. But yeah, Reddit loves Crank.
Beating Tasia in 2 best-of-3s is pretty sick, especially considering that Tasia essentially carried Liquid, like picked all other 15 players up, put them on his back, and carried them up a giant hill called Incredible Miracle.
Yeah, don't worry, I'll just all kill them.
Yeah, he all killed Incredible Miracle once, and
almost
then
did it the second time.
Yeah, and then Incredible Miracle was like, all right, well, let's play our next round, and so then they immediately kill off 4 Liquid players, and Tasia comes back out and is like, yeah, guys, I got this one. Don't just. Yeah, you're good. And he starts going again, and he goes 4 games, and then he loses the 5th, and it's just like, God, you just went 9 out of 9 against, Incredible Miracle. That's crazy.
Complete badass.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Well, I mean, overall, Crank ended up placing 11th in MLG, so that's pretty good. So, how about the Stefano versus Violet matchup and everything that happened with Stefano blaming DJ Weed? That was funny. That was so funny.
That was so much fun.
One of my favorite games.
Yeah. So essentially, what happened in like the third game? So Stefano decided to apparently ZVZ is not Stefano's best matchup. So he 6-pooled, but he 6-pooled and he ended at 95 minerals. So he sent all of his drones and his pylons, all of his drones and his Zerglings to...
Everything.
Yeah, he sent everything at 95 minerals, so he didn't have enough to put down one spine crawler, which is what he needed if he wanted to pull off the 6 pool. And there was some really cute little banter between Stefano and Violet.
Good luck, have fun, sweetie.
Thanks, honey. Yeah, so there was some really cute stuff, but Violet, like, microed it perfectly. You know, he did the whole, like, spamming on the mineral patch and, like, attacking at the right point. So Stefano lost that first game. Well, the second game, I can't remember if it was the second game when he mentioned DJ Wheat, but I'm going to say it now anyway.
It was the second.
Okay, so Stefano starts typing in the thing. He's like, DJ Wheat told me to like 6
He's like, by the way, thanks DJ Wheat. He's the best mentor ever. He told me to.
so DJ Wheat was like, I didn't tell him to do that.
And then with Violet is doing the exact same thing, but has enough for 2 spine crawlers.
Right, he did an 8 pool instead of a 6 pool,
so
and he saved for 2 spine crawlers.
Stefano doesn't know this is coming. Like,
Yeah.
You know, he's just like, haha.
Well,
he did.
He kind of, because...
And then Violet says, okay, my turn. And then he's like, oh no, he's coming with all his everything. And so he comes with the Zerglings and the what are they called? Drones. And all the drones.
And 2 spine crawlers.
He has enough for 2 spine crawlers. He drops them, and then Stefano drops his 2 spine crawlers.
So there's like a poke battle going on, and
so
then
it was like
he sent his stuff to Violet's base.
So it was actually Violet was still working back at home. As you can see, like not a lot, but he still had a mineral income, and so he was ahead. And then Stefano's base was completely cleared out, and all you could really see was the 2 spine crawlers versus the 2 spine crawlers, and it was like one killed off the other. It was 1 versus 1. It looked like they were about to kill each other off at the exact same time. But Violet's spine wins.
Yeah.
Violet got like 5 hit points or something stupid.
Yeah, by 1 hit.
I mean, but it was just so silly because literally, here's a matchup that people were like, oh my god, this is gonna like be like long, epic games, but it was short, epic games. I mean, it was just kind of funny.
I just don't understand. Like, Violet, I'm not positive it was an 8 pool. I thought it was a little later than that.
I thought it was an 8 pool. I mean, but I had written it down. So.
Honestly, I guess I don't remember. But what I do remember is that like the first thing Violet said was the exact same message that Stefano had said to him right before the 6 pool went off.
Right.
Like, how does Stefano not figure that out, man?
I'm sure he did. He had to have.
No, he obviously did not. Like,
no, he was just like, ha ha ha.
Yeah,
he was like, oh, that's cute.
Well, and then he was like, it's my turn. Like, you know what I mean? Like.
But that was after Stefano had seen the link.
Yeah, that was past the overlord.
Like, Stefano knew at that point what was coming, but by then it was too late. Like, Violet says this before it was like, I think he was either going hatch first or it was like, I mean, he went hatch first.
Okay.
Because he had to cancel the hatch, return the drone, and as he was doing that, he built his pool. But, like, I could not believe that he saw that message and was like, yeah, I'm still going to go hatch first now.
Yeah, I'm not going to put down any spines or my freaking...
Yeah,
he didn't have his spawning pool yet, yeah.
Like, it was entombed, right? So it's one of the bigger maps. It
was a bigger 4-player map, yeah.
But I mean,
if you were going to play odds just playing the numbers, Entombed is one of the safer maps to hatch first.
And who knows? Maybe Stefano thought that maybe he thought he was getting a mind game played with him. So he was like, he's just saying that, so I think he's going to attack me. You know, something like that could have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, but against Violet, I would not like. I'd be like, oh yeah, you're 6 pooling me.
Yeah.
Because that's just what he does. Like.
He's a really aggressive Zerg.
Yeah, if he feels like he has you in a position where you're a little nervous, or, you know, especially if he's won the first best, or whatever, the first game.
He was ahead, yeah, like he could afford to lose a game if he wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Truth.
Honestly, I would be willing to bet that Violet's plan after Stefano 6 pooled him was like, I'm going to 10 pool him twice in a row and see what happens. Because, and then it just worked out that he only needed to do it once.
Yeah, that's true. Cool. Well, I mean, that was kind of, you know, everything that I thought was kind of cool that happened on day 2 at least. But did anything happen that wasn't game related that was pretty cool?
Well, I mean, we got our pictures taken with Teja and
right, and Hero.
Hero, yeah.
Right,
all that.
we got our pictures taken with
That's the thing that I really love.
Cool. Huh?
Yeah. that's the thing that I really love about, like, you know, MLG and stuff like that, is just being able to go and, like, see these guys up close and actually, like, talk to them and stuff. And they're willing to just stand there and say hello. Even the Koreans that obviously are not all that comfortable speaking English, at least understand, you know, you played well, thank you, good games, and stuff like that. And I did have the pleasure of thanking Idra for his good games about an hour after he lost.
I didn't even.
So.
I wanted to say hi to Idra, but I was like, no, Idra.
Yeah.
And
we're all standing there in a little group, and he comes walking by. I'm like, hey, good game, man.
Yeah, he shook
He's
your
like,
hand.
yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, he shook my hand, which I was surprised.
I'd be afraid he'd try to attack me. I was just like, I'm not gonna go near that. Just gonna.
He's a small guy. He's not that strong.
I don't know. He looks intimidating. I was just like, yeah, I don't want to be that person. I'm just gonna watch his games and take notes and be like, all right, this guy's really awesome, but I'm not gonna attempt to say hi to him. That was my thought process, at least.
I think he was actually probably pretty happy with how the tournaments went, despite you know, losing when he didn't want to lose. But
yeah.
He didn't lose in a way that really pisses him
well,
off.
I mean, he must have been exhausted at the point. Was just like, you know what?
Yeah, I mean, in the Idriverse ADC game, he did leave that third game. He quit out.
A little early.
Yeah, a little early. But that was the only game I really saw him do that.
Well, it wasn't early though. The game
it was
over.
early.
Yeah.
I know it was over, but like
early.
most people in these games, they you know, continue, at least.
Can you not eat?
Is he eating and drinking?
No, he's just like eating the whole time. All he's doing is like looking down at his food.
That's how he gets so skinny. Everyone knows a good metabolism happens when you eat constantly, and it's like good food. Not like us where we eat like Pop-Tarts and fat. Like donuts, yes. Wine. Oh, you're done. You're done with your pineapple. Good job.
Almost, yeah. I'm sad.
Dat pineapple.
So there was another game though that you guys felt was like left early, but that's something that I disagree with, and especially in a tournament setting like this, I think players were not willing to leave soon enough in a lot of cases.
Are you talking about the ZVZ, the other game where Idra left early?
No, it wasn't an Idra game. It was Crank versus whoever kept beating him with Blink Starcraft. Hero. It was Crank versus Hero. The last, out of their extended series, the last one, Hero again opened with Blink Stalkers, like 7 out of 7 times.
Every time.
And
Blink Stalker micro is so good though.
yeah, I mean it was awesome micro, but it was like, oh come on man, do something else. But anyway, so in that last game, you know, Crank like quit, and to some people it may have seemed early, but honestly, like, with as many games as they played, I don't understand how so many people were like, yeah, he's probably got an 80 supply lead on me, I'm gonna stay in this one. Like, just that kind of baffles me. You know, and especially Mike had a point while we were just talking earlier, which was like, Idra especially, who only plays these intense macro games, you know, like 15 plus minutes is his zone, right? That's what he wants. To play 60 of those, like, that is just so much time and energy. Like, I'd be like, oh man, my opening didn't work, GG. Like,
yeah.
You know,
yeah, his macro is
really
like.
Bad. I felt really bad about Idra versus ASD because it's the end of Saturday, right? And Idra's gone through the entire. He's played 2 tournaments, okay? It's late at night, and he's playing ASD, a guy who's only played 1 tournament.
Yep.
And he won the first game, but he went on to lose the series. But I mean, the amount of exhaustion going into that, I don't think Idra had. Like, he didn't have the odds he should have had. Like,
no,
he played like 5 times as many games as this guy.
Yeah, that, and also, I mean, ASD is a Terran known for TVZ rather. Like, ever since he played in ST, like, a year and a half ago, you know, in the GSL, and there was like this awesome game back when he was on FOU. But
Oh wow.
to come up against a Zerg sniper after going through essentially 2 losers brackets of tournament games. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
He stamina-wise, he had no chance, but then he made it a very good series.
Definitely.
Anyway.
Yeah. Cool. Oh, yeah. So I did want to. You had kind of mentioned it, but like, I think it was really neat that I didn't really expect was the accessibility of the players. I mean, they're all just like freaking milling about. Like, they're watching games. They're, and it's not like they're just like sitting up in like the VIP section. They're like literally just like standing around watching, going around, seeing what their friends are doing, seeing what like other players are doing, checking the scoreboard like for WCS like everyone else. Like, it was just really neat to see that. And they're all very approachable. No one was. Sorry, just read something in the chat. So I thought that was really, really nice that people were just kind of like around. So yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool to talk to them, and then also, talking to casters and other people that were just involved with it. It's really cool because as long as you have the confidence to go up and say, hey, that was kind of cool. Sorry about the burp, by the way. They're willing to talk, right? And I talked to a decent number of the casters that were doing, the red and blue stream, and they would be willing to tell me about, how they got into it, what they're planning on doing after casting, whether or not they think casting is something that they can continue as a career later into life. Which the majority said no. And then, all these other things that, like, without going to an MLG and actually having those people just face to face, you wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah. Cool.
So with that, what's the next esports trip? I vote for IPL 5 in Vegas.
That's a great idea.
Is trying to Iris is trying to convince Matt that we should go to that.
She's gonna give me the idea.
Oh my God, I would.
Yeah, Iris is trying to convince us to go to that. What are the dates again?
End of November, right after Thanksgiving. I guess.
He's like, I'm gonna have a stupid proposal.
Yeah, I might have to go to the Philippines. They just told me today. They're like, you're going to the Philippines for 2 weeks. If you want, I'm gonna be like on a ship.
Back to your homeland.
Wait, is that where you're from?
I can go to Vegas and hang out with Iris.
My mom has a house there. We have a house there. You want to go to our house?
Yeah. Oh my God, that'd be great. Let's totally do it because I don't even know. Like, my bosses.
Speak Tagalog. It's like,
yeah, my bosses were like, yeah, if we win this, you're going to the Philippines because you're the lead for this. And I was like,
it's hot. It's like here. It's not.
Yeah, I was like,
hotter.
I don't want. I was like, can we go to Korea? And they like looked at me. They're like, why would you want to go to Korea? And I was like, no reason. I was like, but can we make like a pit stop? It's like, it's like right over there. It's like, let's just go to Seoul. And they just were like, they did not get it, but I was like giggling, and I was just like, and yeah, it was
not right over there.
It was kind of funny for me, but no one else.
IPL or the Philippines.
I know, right? I would rather go to IPL.
I've never been to Vegas.
I don't know. We gotta get someone to like pay us to go out there. We gotta figure that out. If the stream keeps doing well, maybe someone will. I'm just gonna call and be like, look, here's an email. I'm not gonna call him. I'm gonna email him and be like, here's the reason why you want us there. Please pay for us to fly there. Thank you. Goodbye. Okay. So anyway, the only thing we haven't talked about was Championship Sunday. So I
which a lot of people don't talk about, apparently, because they were not happy with it.
Yeah, but I want to talk about it anyway.
We're gonna talk about it. A lot of people didn't because they were just like Championship Sunday.
Let's see. What do we got? Okay, I have a note here that Stefano was sitting with EG. And then also, just in this, what was the name of that thing we were just watching? The game state.
Inside the game.
Oh, I have a bad memory. We were just watching Inside of the Game, and, like, Stefano was, like, walking behind, like, Adra on the stream. It was pretty funny. So, yeah. So, anyway, I have that written down. He might be going to EG. I mean, it kind of looks that way, but who knows?
Right? He's, like, walking behind.
I'm not going to speculate, but he is
sitting
at
with EG people.
he is at House EG right now, and he was sitting with them for a few of the.
The majority of the time.
Yeah. Okay. So what else do we got here?
Who wouldn't wanna sit next to
Hold
In
on.
Control? He's
Hold
so
on.
cuddly.
What? What did you say?
I said, who wouldn't want to sit next to In Control? He's so cuddly.
I know. I would love that.
Girlfriend was the whole weekend.
I wish I had gone and said hi, maybe, but I don't know. Okay. So.
Say hi, maybe.
Say hi, maybe. Okay. So here's the toot. Only Nat would maybe get that.
So,
I
got it.
No. Well, there's an RP.
No, I know. I know.
Oh, you've seen it. Okay, perfect. Woo. Okay.
Only Mike's out of loop now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay. So first hero. All right. I want to talk about. I know that everyone says, oh, Hero's, like, we've all talked about how Hero does his little, like, freaking Blink Stalker thing. But this was the coolest thing. He lost this game, but he was picking up his Immortals with a Warp Prism and microing his Immortals back. It was the most epic thing I've ever seen.
John.
I was like, oh my god, I wish I could do that. I want to do that. It was so cool.
Mike, it was like John's Immortal macro.
But, like...
Macro.
Macro.
If you watch the WCS, Squirtle does one against a Zerg.
Really?
And it's amazing. Like, there's 3 Immortals, and between them they have, I don't know, like 50 kills. All probably roaches. And it's just, as a Zerg, I'm just like crying, because I'm like, if anyone does that to me, I am never going to be able to hold an Immortal all in, which is already hard to hold. And why would Protestants do anything else if they can micro like this? They'll just instantly win. It's the scariest shit in the world.
Oh yeah, that was a good game over on the Korean WCS. Was pretty crazy.
Squirtle's a badass. But anyway, back to Hero.
What else do we got? Oh, another cool thing that Hero did, right, in that first Hero matchup, Game 2, first does a Dark Shrine, right, and Hero, freaking, right as the Dark Shrine, the freaking Dark Templar are walking up his ramp, he warps in the 2 sentries, puts the thing down perfectly so the Dark Shrine, the force field, so the Dark Templar can't walk up into his base. It was totally cool. And it was buying time for his Robo to get out his Observer. So I'm forgetting all of the major words. It's like me forgetting like tree and house. I'm forgetting Observer and Dark Templar.
Termites and pyramids.
Yeah. Blue, little termites going to a blue pyramid. If anyone read the CNN article, probes are forever going to be known as termites because that was the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. Probes are cute and cuddly. They look like little puppies. They're adorable, and you call them a termite, and they're going to a blue pyramid? The freaking Nexus is gold. I'm going to rant about this for the rest of my life.
Speaking of articles, though, they ran a couple MLG articles. One was in the Raleigh newspaper. Did you guys get to see that?
Talk about how bad that one was.
So I actually saw people walking around MLG, with the newspaper article. I didn't, I saw the title and the picture, but I didn't really think much of it. And then you linked it to us. And so I read it, and I read the response article. And then the next day, I'm like, so Katie, have you seen it? She's like, what?
I was oblivious.
What article? I'm like, this article!
Yeah, but hold on. Huffington Post wrote an excellent article. Huffington Post, I forget who the name of the author is, but we'll link it in this when we post this on YouTube. But he wrote this article. So first, let's talk about the one that was written by the local newspaper in Raleigh. They basically just they made it sound like all people that played video games don't shower, and we were basically sitting in our basement. At the convention center was a basement. This is a huge convention center.
Yeah, we're
calling it a basement and
giant basement with people who usually don't look like they don't go out often.
Right. People that don't look like they've been in the sun for
And Feetstick, was promoting MLG. Had samples of deodorant sticks, and they mentioned that, oh, that's a good idea since this is going for 10 hours, saying that we smell bad, which some people did, but we didn't.
Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous. I mean, so that article sucked, and everyone was pissed about it. I didn't know about it till after, but I was pissed once I found out about it. So then Huffington Post also put out an article, and this is really cool. The guy who wrote the article, his kids are huge StarCraft 2 fans. So he went here, I think he brought his kids, I can't even remember, but he went here.
There's a lot of freaking kids.
And and he was talking about how cool it was and how this is the future of sports and all that kind of stuff. And the article was written so nice and so glowing, but from a non-biased point of view, it wasn't like he was just this is going to be everything and real sports suck. You know what I mean? Like, he was just, like, talking about it realistically. And it gave me nerd chills. I was excited. I like
You
when
had
that
the
happened.
nerd chills the whole weekend.
I did. I had super nerd chills. I was cold as
Not
hell.
to mention just normal chills, because it was fucking
Yeah,
cold.
it was freezing. I wore a hoodie the entire weekend, and like one day I was wearing my jacket, and I was just like sitting there. I was like, oh my god, I wish I had my hoodie and my jacket. But I didn't. So there needed to be more nerd ballers there, because if there were more nerds, it would have been warmer. Because everyone know that people put out body heat, and that would have changed the efficiency of the air conditioning system.
It was still a
Well,
big space with lots of air conditioning.
Yeah, so that sucked. Nat, you were cold
Anyway.
too, were you?
He's
Oh,
not
yeah.
gonna admit it. He's a dude. I was fine.
I was fine. I was so super
I'm
okay.
fine.
Tima got the T-shirt. Yes, she did, but it's
You threw it in my face, and it's a double XL.
it's all right. We're gonna cut it up and
We'll
make
both
it awesome.
wear it. We'll
yeah,
both
we
wear it
can.
at the same
Why don't you
time.
go get it? Let's put it on. No, we're gonna cut it up and make it awesome. You were doing an interpretive dance, Kibbles. That was pretty crazy. Okay, so that was the article.
I do kind of want to go grab the shirt to see how big it is.
Yeah, why don't you go grab that, and I will continue to talk about randomness. Let's see. Okay, Game 3, first versus Hero, they were both doing Warp Prism harasses. The Warp Prisms were, like, flying all over the place, crossing by each other, dropping Stalkers, dropping Immortals, attacking each other, not attacking each other. That was crazy. I don't know. Nat, I really enjoyed that game.
Yeah, that was cool. That was like one of the last ones that I got to see, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But no, that was really good, and it really, to me, it really showed like why First deserved to be where he was, because he did that and then got his 4th base, and then he continued doing that and got his 5th base, and Hero was doing that and was like stuck on his 3rd and hadn't even saturated it. Like, they were doing this all out, you know, multitasking war, and First just like dominated like every aspect of it. It was really cool to see. Like, they were about even for a while, and it was just down to the micro. And then as it became evident that, you know, one person was going to have to go and start macroing as well, or you know, take their macro to the next level.
Yeah.
First was the only one of them able to do that, and he did it in such perfect style that, like, I'm sure Hero was like just thinking to himself, well, he must be on 3 bases too. And then like 5 minutes later, he has an observer go around the outside of the map, and he's like, wait, the hell, you're on 5? Like, I'm on 3, and I don't even have it saturated. Oh, balls.
Yeah.
Like, you could almost see that happen, because all of a sudden his micro just stopped, like, as First started engaging in the final attack, and it's like, the supply was 200 to like 120 or something, and that was just it.
Yeah.
It was awesome to watch.
Truth. Let me see what else I have in my little notebook.
What?
Yeah, well, I take a lot of notes, okay?
I just remember stuff.
I don't. I need to write it down. Alright.
Go.
Yeah,
Goldfish memory.
I don't remember stuff either, but I'm at
You're
least
remembering
able
it
to
now that
couple.
I'm saying it, though. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, if I were to just be like, alright, let's talk about it, I'd be like, if I
That's
don't
so
have
good.
something to trigger my brain, I'm just like, fuck. Alright, sorry I swore. Okay, let's see what we got. Alright, so first versus Tasia, game one, first one, because he storms for the win in that game. That was pretty sweet. So game 2, it was funny. They actually commented like, "This is why the Brood War players coming into Starcraft 2 is going to be amazing and epic, because First catches a medevac like running along the outskirts, and he with like Marines in it, and he kills it, and it was perfect. It was freaking awesome. It was just showing that his attentiveness was like freaking spot on. It was badass. Also, force fields in the final engagement cut off the withdrawal, and the Colossus were able to clean up. So that was the first games. Let's see, what else did we get? So now this was after you left, right?
I saw that maybe. I don't remember honestly.
Okay.
But yeah, it was probably right around the time that I had to leave, and so then I didn't watch any more MLG and just switched back to watching the WCS Korea. So
yeah. So the hold on. What did I? Oh shit. Okay, so the Lenok versus the STC. All right, so this was one of those extended series, and in Game 3, this is funny. I'm like reading my notes, and I'm like, this is hilarious what I wrote here. Well, first, the STC did a Banshee Hellion transition to Thor, and Lenok did a Muta into Muta transition. That is literally what I wrote, because I remember like he was trying to like fake him out, and he ended up just doing Mutas, and then you thought he was transitioning, and then he just did more Mutas. And that was really, really cool. But then he ended up doing Ultras, Banelings, Zerglings, Infestors, and Broodlords. So he ended up making the rest of the Zerg army. But it was, at first, like, it was just really funny, because you thought it was like transition time, and he just didn't transition. So I was like, Mutas into Mutas. So there were 12 Thors at one point that had 3/3 upgrades. But there's some good fungals on the Vikings. But anyway, the STC ended up winning that game, and then Game 4. What do I have? I can't. By the end of the week or weekend, I was completely. I'm just trying to understand what the hell I wrote. Okay, well the STC won, and it was because he did an all-in Hellion Marauder SCV push. So, and the 4 queens, like Lenok just went right ahead, he made 4 queens, and it was just death. So the STC beat him there. Game 5 and Game 6, Game 5, Game 6, and Game 7 obviously went to Lenok because he ended up going on to the finals. But in Game 5, he did Muta, Baneling, Zergling bust, but that was held off by the turrets, and it was not as effective as it needed to be. But he did a second try, that same exact build, and he ended up doing awesome, so he beat him. Game 6, I have, the STC tried to do a Tima build. That is her build. And what a Tima build is when you build a barracks in their base. So the STC actually he built a supply depot,
which I don't do. I built the supply depot back in my base.
Yeah, so he built a supply depot and then a barracks, and freaking Lenok just knows. I mean, he just goes right over there, sees it, and cancels it, and Lenok ends up winning. He just does a roach run into the base. What?
Do we have more evidence that the Tima build just does not work?
Yeah, we can't get Tima to stop doing the Tima build. She's such a honey badger that she's like, I'm going to build a barracks in their base. And
it will work if I have a bunker down.
A bunker.
No, there's not always a bunker. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Fair enough. There's not always. Sometimes I ruin it on purpose.
Oh man.
She didn't hear that though.
So Game 7.
But the pineapple's gone, deuce.
I don't even know what's going on. There's a lot of talk about Pineapple. At least it's a better chat than Destiny's, if you've ever been in there. That's just like, someone explain this to me. Why do people always ask if Destiny is Grandmaster? I don't understand this, and I don't know if I actually want to, but anyway, that's always going on in stream. Game 7, Baneling, Zergling, Muta push. 4th time doing that, he won it.
I think this almost goes to my knees.
Oh, she's wearing the shirt. And it looks like she's wearing a dress.
How did you not realize that?
It's perfect. Actually, we'll cut it, because I'm actually a pro at cutting and making T-shirts, like, sexified.
Good, because it goes down to, like, my knees.
We're going to do it. We're going to make it amazing. It's going to be great.
This is a large children's shirt that I'm wearing.
Yeah. I love children's shirts. They're
so
the
do
best.
I. Got it for, like, $3.
Hi, sweet. Thanks, guys. You're totally ballin'. Alright, so that's okay, so let's talk about the final. Lenok versus first. Lenok wins the first 2 games. The first 2 games, and then he loses the third, and the reason why the third just ended like that, and the reason why was because Lenok was gonna do a Nidus into first main, and first scouted it like perfectly. And then, so Lenok just like quit out of the game.
Gave him a game, basically.
Yeah, basically.
I'm ahead. I can afford to give you a game. Here it is.
Yeah.
I thought that was the 4th game.
It was the 3rd, because it was the 3rd. Yeah. And then the 4th.
I thought
he
it
won.
3-0 and then 1, and then he won the last one.
Possible. Probable. Yeah, actually that makes sense.
Why did you give it? Why did you give him the 3rd game?
Yeah.
Give him the 4th game.
Yeah. Okay, so that is exactly what happened there. So anyway, so the final was a little anticlimactic because Leenock was just on fire, so I don't know. But it was awesome because Leenock's a great player. It's one of Nat's favorite players. I'm pointing Nat that way. Nat, did you watch the VODs after?
No, a stream of sunlight on his face.
No, I haven't gotten to watch them yet. So I will go back and watch those. I was honestly more intent on WCS Korea once I got back, just because I don't know.
Yeah.
They have such an interesting.
It's all
style.
Protoss and WCS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was so fun to watch. Anyway.
So
no, I haven't watched the VODs, but Leenock, like, I guess the reason that I really liked him, and especially in this tournament, was that he did have a very, he had a good mix of aggressive styles, but also knew when to just take it to the late game, when he was confident against other people during the late game. And you could kind of see that he was not just playing the game, but also playing the player. You know, like, he knew who he was against. He knew what their state of mind was. He knew how tired they were and what they would be susceptible to. And he played every set. He played very well, like, strategically and mechanically. You know, he was very much like Jelizard, I felt, in this tournament, because he knew what he had to do to win, and he just went out and brutally executed it every time.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because isn't his hero Jelizard?
I would guess so. I mean, he's basically like mini Jelizard.
Or Baby Nest, one of the two.
Or, I would say mini Jelizard, like, especially physically, they look like the same person, but 10 years apart. Right? Like...
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
a little
they
bit.
do.
Leenock's so cute, and doesn't he have a girlfriend? He's in high school. He's got a girlfriend. He's winning MLG championships like a boss.
Yep.
Mike, what about you? What are your thoughts on Leenock?
This is a repeat championship for him, right? I mean, he won the 2011 championship. Really good player. I think he has one of the better Zerg versus Terrans right now. I mean, in general, I think, because I mean, he's taking that MVP. He's a really good player. I'm really sad that MC wasn't there. I'm really sad that Nesty and MVP weren't there. But they're all playing OSL.
Yeah.
OSL is pretty amazing right now. Now that it's actually happening. But yeah, Leenock, really good player.
Awesome. So the last thing I want to do is I want to run through what the standings were, in case people can't actually go to teamliquid.net or Wikipedia.
But they can access
I'm just
Twitch.
going to say it anyway. Okay, so first place was FXO's Leenock. Second was Incredible Miracles First. Third was Liquid Tasia. Fourth was Quantic the STC. Fifth was, what the hell is, Liquid Hero, obviously. Sixth was Azubu Violet. Seventh Revival. Eighth Heart. Ninth Millennium Stefano. 10th Alive. 11th Crank. 11th Crank. That's to be noted, because he doesn't even have a team. It's pretty cool. Someone recruit him. 12th was Daisy. So that was kind of like the top standings for that, and I went to WCS earlier, so that's good. But yeah, so it was just, the MLG overall was really awesome.
Well, the things that I wanted to add, like, that I really enjoyed about the MLG games were that people were intentionally playing mind games. Like, I'm gonna hide my racks here, and then, you know, people kind of knew after a while. They knew to look for it. Like, okay, so it's not the traditional spot, like at the front of the ramp here, but maybe I can fix that, Katie. But there might be another one, you know, hiding in this corner here. And then, like, one of my favorite parts was when, I don't remember who was doing it, but at the starport, they're like, okay, it's about 7.5 minutes. I know that they're gonna come scout me to see if there's a push or something going on. And so they're gonna scout my starport, and they like fake it out with he's not really researching Cloak, but he pretends to be, like, researches like medevac energy, and then like, he's gonna see this and think I'm doing Cloak. And he's like, he saw it, but well, I guess I didn't need this, and cancels it. But just like small things like that, like, I would never be like, I can fake them out of this. Like, they know the timings of scouting so well. They're like, okay, at this time, something's going to happen, and I can fake them out. I can make them think I'm doing this, and then do the opposite. So it's like, it just becomes so much more important to be constantly scouting your enemy to know what they're doing. Because otherwise, you're like, I think they're doing this. I know they are. And then they're like, where did this come from? So I thought that's what I really enjoyed about the MLG games.
Yeah.
Yeah, that specific example though was like a perfect. It was a perfect example of what we were talking about earlier with like the way that Idra plays and expecting to get the right reaction out of people, because it was stuff like that. A lot of the times, especially the timing-based things like that, there were a lot of things that Scarlet did, that Major did, that other like for U.S. players basically did to try and show their opponents things, but most of those things were not timing based. They were just like, oh, here's a set of units that I've already made, right? But the Koreans that went to these tournaments were doing so many interesting timing based mind games that were very complex and required specific practice. That was really cool, yeah, I agree. And then in that particular case, the person didn't scan when they were supposed to.
He was like, oh,
and
that's unnecessary.
Yeah, that's the example of like, that's Idra's worst nightmare, right? He's like, oh yeah, I've got this perfect thing, it's perfectly mapped out for a good player, and then the scan doesn't land, and he's like, well, seriously, man, why would you not scan right
Yeah.
now? Like,
I was trying to trick you out for no reason.
Like they know that their opponent has no scouting information and needs to scan, and they know when they need to scan, and then their opponent doesn't do it, and they're like, do you know how to play this game? What are you doing? Like, why did you not scan my base right now?
Mind games.
I need you to think of going Cloak Banshee.
But anyway,
Caps Lock is on.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Well, okay, so...
The other thing I really enjoyed was just going with friends. Like, that's something I really advocate to anybody in the stream.
You went with friends?
Yeah.
Who were you?
Yeah, friends and
Were they
even my girl.
next to you right now? Were they in these bubbles, in these boxes?
They're both adorable and cute.
We're so cute. We're like little hamsters.
Yep. And
she's a honey badger. Honey badger don't give a fuck.
I'm gonna get my Nike
But
Air
it's so
then.
much fun to go with people, right? And that's something that I really like. Anybody in the street, you have the chance to go. Like, if it's anywhere remotely close to you, it's it's easily worth a large percentage of your income, regardless of what you do, to go and do this with a few friends.
IPL.
Yeah, exactly. It's not even remotely close. But
Well, there's
still
such a drastic price difference between like the VIP tickets. They're like $250, and that's like if you want a 3-day pass, it's $40.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really not bad.
Yeah.
Especially compared to like BlizzCon was like 180, right?
What?
It was like $125 per ticket.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 125 per
Plus
ticket when Team
tax.
and I went last year. Yeah.
Tax.
And going to Anaheim, which is not really all that cheap.
But we stayed with my aunt, which is free.
Gosh.
Which if you go to Anaheim, it'll be free.
We're gonna go to Anaheim for
Okay.
something, for anything, because that's where everything happens. Is San Diego area.
Stop trying to girlfriend gay.
What? Why do you always think I'm a lesbian?
I do play League of Legends.
Anyway, I think we should end the show pretty soon.
I think we've digressed. So
San Diego is an awesome city.
okay, hold on. Let's wrap up what we talked about. All right.
Like gift wrap.
Yep.
Yeah, like gift wrap. We should just kind of gift wrap it.
With a ribbon.
Put a ribbon on
Put
it.
a
Not
bow
a
on
bow. We're gonna put a ribbon, like a ribbon hand-tied bow.
Can I make a bow out of the ribbon?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway, MLG was really awesome. We stayed until the last of the ceremony. We watched Leenock do the Gangnam Style dance, which was really awesome. Like, really cool. I would have loved to have done that with him if I knew how to do it and I wasn't such a white girl that can't dance. But
I thought we were going to learn that dance.
we should have learned it before MLG, but we ran out of time. So anyway, what I kind of took away from MLG is that it's really awesome. There's a lot of things that can be, I think, make it even bigger. Although obviously, like online, the stream and everything for that is just huge. But I think as far as the like major events, there wasn't as much. I thought that there would be more females there that were talking about StarCraft. There, you know, like there were the few people that were walking around and like doing a few interviews here and there with some of the pros, but there wasn't much interaction with just like females that like knew something about the games. There was like the Dr. Pepper girls, and like that's cool. Booth babes, totally awesome. Like, you know, I was talking to one of my bosses. He goes to conventions all the time, but like they're for like ballistic missile defense and like weird things like that.
And they still have this.
Yeah, and they had one. They were at one, and there's all these girls that had this shirt that said like best rack in town or something on them, and it was a rack that holds like an engine for like a boat. So you can like change out components and stuff on it. But anyway, there were a lot of booth babes, but they didn't talk about StarCraft. I even tried to talk to a few of them. I was like, hey, like, so you like StarCraft? Like, I'm not like hitting on you. I'm just wondering. And you know, they were just like, oh no, we like Dr. Pepper. And I was like,
Dr.
yeah.
Pepper and wearing these short skirts.
I was like, yeah, I like Dr. Pepper too, but I like other things. No, I actually don't like soda, but I drank a lot of it this weekend. I'm Jewish. I like free things. If there's something free, I'm going to drink it.
You didn't have to leave the place, so you're like, free, and I don't have to leave?
Yeah, so anyway, so there needs to be more females at these events that are talking with everyone that's there. I mean, we literally spent the entire weekend talking to anyone that would talk to us. We'd be like sitting there, and I'd like turn around in between games and be like, hey, I have a sticker. Guess what? We play StarCraft, and what do you think about that last game? Hey, this totally just happened. It was totally bad.
Although your friend Carlos was like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah, I know. I was like, the first guy we met, he's really nice. His name was Carlo, and he was like, I was like, yeah, we have a stream and stuff, and he's like, oh, that's really cute, and I wanted to be like, but I didn't. I was just like, yeah, I mean, but it's not a cute thing. It's we're trying to help the community of esports thing. But I didn't say that. I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna go back to watching Huck, but here's a sticker, and here's some buttons, and hi. But yeah, I mean, he didn't. But he didn't actually. I don't think he actually meant it that way. But it definitely came across that way. But I mean, yeah, it was. He was like, "That's cute," and I was like, "Do I look like a Labrador Retriever puppy? Is that what I look like? Do I look approachable?"
So cute. Do you want a biscuit?
Yeah, you want a biscuit? I love biscuits. But yeah, so anyway, so it'd be cool if there were more girls there that wanted to talk about StarCraft or at any of these events. But I haven't been to any other ones, so this was just my take from this MLG. I don't know, Nat. What did you think?
That was my first impression when getting there, because I mean, BlizzCon and PAX are just so much bigger than this. So I kind of thought this would be bigger, but then I thought about the location, and like it is Raleigh. Anaheim, of course, will be bigger. IPL, of course, will be bigger. So.
Mhm. So anyway, let's end.
As I said when we opened, it did seem kind of poorly attended, and the girls, you know, that were there weren't really. They weren't like serious side of things, and I'd like to see more of that.
Yeah, like ballers that want to take notes and shit and just watch StarCraft. StarCraft is the coolest thing ever. I spend so much of my time, like every time that there's an event online, I'm like, oh, DreamHack. Like I don't leave. My friends are like, what are you doing? And I'm like,
go out.
I'm like, no, I can't. I'm busy. And they're like, what are you doing? I'm like,
work.
Doing yard work. I mean, I normally am doing yard work, but like I watch so much StarCraft. I'm just like,
just have a proposal plan for every time there's an event coming up.
It's true. They're like, want to go to the beach? And I'm like, no, I don't. See, that's bad. That's feeding you the stereotype. But I happen to be allergic to the sun, so I actually can't go into the sun. It developed in high school, so that's why I'm so pale. And I live in a beach
all
town.
this Jenna Marbles is Katie's fault.
Sorry, we watch a lot of Jenna Marbles.
I'm
from New England. I'm from New England. New
I
England
only did
represent.
it when you visited Seattle. That's when it started. That's when I started talking like Jenna Marbles.
Yeah.
I don't usually talk like Jenna Marbles. Right
I'm
now?
Sorry.
Didn't.
Correct.
It's a New Englander
Correct.
thing. We all talk like we're fucking crazy. Okay, so anyway, so this is the end of the best of 7, and we're gonna stay online. I'm just gonna stop the recording, and we're gonna play some StarCraft because that's what we do. We play StarCraft.
I went up
awesome.
6 ranks today.
She went up. You mean
wow.
6? Yeah, that's right. Okay, Mike, ending message before I shut this down.
Closing statement.
Oh shit!
This is your special thing. So
Thursday, everyone. Okay, listen to me. Thursday, we're doing an interview with O. Oscar from Reddit. He's also like the guy that started all of Barcraft in Seattle, Washington. we're homies with Oscar, and he's gonna come on. He's gonna do an interview. He's gonna tell us everything of how it started, everything, all the discussions he's had with Blizzard, everything that's happened, including a lot of like crazy shit. We were just talking to him before this. He's a really, really cool guy, and he's got a really epic beard, so you should totally check out we're going to do this on Thursday. We're going to be interviewing Oscar. We're going to be talking about Starcraft, and then on Saturday we're interviewing Viva La Dirt, and we'll be playing songs after the end of the stream, so you'll actually know who they are. They do Starcraft parody songs, and they just do awesomeness. And
we'll play one during our transition into
yeah,
games.
she's going to play one like immediately right now, so totally check us out Thursday and Saturday, and check us out any day because we're pretty much always streaming games. Yeah, we're gonna play some games right now. Okay, so I'm gonna end the recording. Mike.
Wait.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Diddy, for coming
fun.
on. You're the best. Time for some Viva La Dirt. We're gonna end it with some Viva. There we go.
Oh, good job.
Okay, I'm gonna shut the recording down.